His name was Armin, while others ran ahead, getting results, recognition, praise. Armin was always a few steps behind. In school, he took longer to understand things. In life, he took longer to figure things out. Even his dreams took longer to feel real. And people noticed, "Why are you so slow? You'll never catch up." Life doesn't wait for people like you. At first, he ignored it, but words have weight. Slowly, those voices became his own thoughts. Maybe they were right. Maybe he really wasn't enough. One day, during a small competition, Armin gave it his all. He practiced for days, stayed up late, tried harder than ever before. And still, he lost. Not by a little, by a lot. Everyone else moved on quickly, celebrating, laughing, forgetting. But Armin couldn't. That loss stayed with him. That night, he sat alone, staring at his hands. "Why am I like this?" he whispered. No answer came, just silence. The next morning, he didn't feel like trying anymore. For the first time, he thought about giving up, not dramatically, not loudly, just quietly stopping. But life has a strange way of interrupting your lowest moments. On his way home that evening, Armin passed by an old garden he had never noticed before. It was quiet, peaceful, almost forgotten. Something pulled him inside. As he walked through it, he saw different plants, some tall and strong, some small and fragile. But one thing caught his attention. In the corner, there was a plant that looked weak. Its leaves were small. Its growth was barely visible. Compared to the others, it looked like it didn't belong. Armin walked closer. "Why is this one so behind?" he murmured. An old man sitting nearby heard him and smiled. "You see it as behind," the man said softly, "but you're only looking at what's above the ground." Armin frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man stood up slowly and walked toward the plant. "This one," he said, pointing at it, "is not growing slowly, it's growing deeply." Armin didn't understand. "It's building roots," the man continued. "Strong ones, the kind that don't break in storms." Armin looked at the plant again. It still looked weak. "But it doesn't look strong," he said. The old man smiled again. "Because strength isn't always visible." Those words hit differently. For the first time, Armin didn't feel judged. He felt understood. The old man looked at him carefully. "You remind me of this plant." Armin stayed silent. "You think you're slow," the man said, "but maybe you're just building something others can't see yet." Armin felt something shift inside him. Not confidence, but a small sense of hope. "What if I never grow?" he asked quietly. The old man chuckled. "Oh, you will," he said, "but only if you don't stop now." They stood there in silence for a moment. Then the old man added one last thing. "Fast growth impresses people, but strong roots protect you from life." That night, Armin couldn't stop thinking. What if his journey wasn't wrong? Just different? What if being slow wasn't a weakness? The next day, he made a small decision. He wouldn't try to be the fastest anymore. He would focus on becoming stronger, day by day, step by step. No rush. But what Armin didn't realize was the moment he changed his perspective, his entire life had already begun to change. The next morning, Armin woke up, but something felt different. Not excitement, not confidence, just calm. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about beating others. He wasn't comparing himself. He just asked himself one simple question. What can I improve today? It wasn't a big goal. It wasn't impressive, but it was real. That day, instead of rushing through everything, Armin slowed down even more. He paid attention. He practiced carefully. He tried to understand, not just finish. And strangely, for the first time, he didn't feel lost. Days turned into weeks. Nothing dramatic happened. No sudden success. No recognition. No applause. From the outside, it still looked like nothing was changing. And that's the hardest part about slow growth. It's invisible. People around him still moved ahead faster. Some of his friends started achieving things. Others began getting opportunities. And sometimes it hurt. Late at night, those old thoughts came back. Maybe you're still too slow. Maybe this won't work. But this time, Armin didn't run from those thoughts. He faced them, because now he understood something important. Growth isn't about how fast you move. It's about whether you stop or not. So he kept going. Small efforts. Every single day. Some days he improved. Some days he didn't. But he showed up anyway. And slowly, very slowly, something began to change. The things that once confused him started making sense. The skills he struggled with became easier. The fear he once felt became smaller. It wasn't obvious to others, but inside him, a quiet strength was building. One day, another competition was announced. The same type he had lost before. For a moment, Armin froze. That old memory came back. The failure, the embarrassment, the doubt. He almost stepped back. Not again, he whispered. But then he remembered the garden, the plant, the roots, and the old man's words. Strong roots protect you from life. This time, Armin didn't enter to win. He entered to test himself. No pressure, no expectations, just growth. When the day came, everything felt different. Earlier, his hands used to shake. His mind used to panic. But now, he was steady. Not perfect, not the best, but grounded. He gave his performance. And when it ended, there was silence. For a second, his heart dropped. Did I fail again? But then, something unexpected happened. People started clapping. Not loudly, not wildly, but genuinely. Armin stood there, confused. This wasn't first place. This wasn't a big victory. But it felt different, because this time, he hadn't broken under pressure. And that was his real win. Later that evening, he returned to the same garden, the same corner, the same plant. But this time, it looked different. It was taller, stronger, healthier, still not the biggest, but no longer the weakest. Armin smiled. He didn't need to ask anything. He already understood. Growth had been happening all along, just not in a way the world could see. The old man appeared again, as if he had been waiting. You came back, he said. Armin nodded. It's growing, Armin said, looking at the plant. The old man smiled. And so are you. Armin took a deep breath. But I'm still not the best, he admitted. The old man looked at him carefully. And who told you that was a goal? Armin stayed silent, because for the first time, he didn't have an answer. The old man continued. Most people chase fast success because they want to be seen. But very few are willing to grow slowly to become unshakable. Armin felt those words deeply, because now he knew fast growth can impress people, but slow growth transforms you. As the sun began to set, Armin looked at the plant one last time. He realized something powerful. That plant didn't compare itself. It didn't rush. It didn't quit. It just kept growing. And eventually, it became strong enough to stand through anything. Armin turned to leave. But this time, he wasn't the same person who walked into that garden days ago. Now he had patience. Now he had direction. Now he had roots. And deep inside, he knew one thing for sure. He was no longer afraid of being slow, because he had finally understood slow growth isn't a weakness. It's a foundation.